What's going on, guys? For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Ty, and today in this video, I'm going to be talking about Thunderbolts, the brand new MCU film that just came out today. Is it good or did it utterly disappoint? That's what I want to dive into here. But listen, be sure to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed, and also subscribe. I'm so close to 2,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to me. I literally cannot wait another second. I need to talk about this movie. I am so happy right now, and I hate to use this phrase. I really hate to say it, but also I don't, because I'm just so genuinely happy. This is the happiest I feel like I've been in a while making a review. This movie's amazing. This is such a good Marvel movie. This is my ideal Marvel film. We are so back. Listen, let me explain. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Honestly, I'm literally just jumping for joy. I've just been on this high since an hour ago when I got out of the movie. Can't stop thinking about it, because this is the thing, okay? Let me just lay the foundation here before I get into all the little details that I want to touch on, and this will be spoiler-free, because there definitely are things that could be spoiled in this film. First of all, for starters, I'm just going to start ranting. I don't know, this is probably going to be all over the place, but again, my energy is just so high right now, and I'm genuinely happy, because Marvel has just been this ship that's just been sinking and sinking and sinking. And it sucks, because this ship is like my favorite ship in the entire ocean. But I feel like with this film, they finally cracked the code that they've already had, by the way, back in 2019 and before that. They're just back. That's the only way I could describe it. And I don't mean it in like some over-exaggerated way. I mean they are literally back to what they are doing before, or what they were doing before, I should say. Listen, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm being very vague right now, but let me really get into the details here as to why I love this film. Let me just start off with the baseline, okay? This is both a very good individual movie, not just like a Marvel movie. It's not super formulaic, which I really liked, but I'll get to that in a second. It's a really, really good standalone MCU comic book film. And it also does a good job, even though this isn't as important, at setting up the future of the MCU. It does both of those so well, and I feel like that's what I've loved about this universe, the fact that it's connected. And listen, I don't just want everything to be teasing the next project, but this movie, like I just said, blends worrying about the present, tell a great story within this 2-hour and change time constraint that you have that we all know as films, and also give us a clear direction, especially because we've got an Avengers movie coming out soon. I loved this movie. I genuinely loved this film, and it's probably my favorite MCU film since Endgame. Shang-Chi is probably pretty close, but there's just something so special about this movie that I didn't even expect it to have before I went into it. I was getting really excited for this movie, don't get me wrong. Honestly, the trailers were selling me. The director made the show Beef, which is probably my favorite show of this decade. I don't watch that many shows, I'm gonna be honest. Huge movie guy, I just don't watch that many shows. I loved it. It was about like mental health. It was about just like life and how difficult it could be sometimes. And I love Steven Yeun as well. This movie is really, really on the nose, I guess you could say, with its thematic elements, which maybe that's like a slight negative I have if I really had to, nitpick here. But it's basically a film about mental health, depression, and how you can deal with that, and how the other people around you can help you, and how they're there for you, and how you shouldn't be able to struggle with things alone. You shouldn't struggle with things alone, I should say. Try to get help if you can. The people around you care about you. That's the premise of this film, and it utilizes the theme. It's not just something that's talked about. It utilizes it as a part of the plot in such an interesting, creative way, to where it's not just some, film about good guys and bad guys and they're just punching each other. No, it's way deeper than that. Getting into the team here with depression, I mean, these are just a bunch of ragtag people. We know these characters, and personally, I've liked all these characters. I've seen the potential in them, but Yelena, as good as she is, hasn't been in the best project. She's been in Hawkeye a little bit. Okay, cool. She was in Black Widow. Pretty fine movie, honestly. I kind of do like it. I'm a Black Widow defender. Everyone knows the potential with Yelena. It just hasn't been like capitalized on yet. I look at Red Guardian, same thing. He was in Black Widow. He was a real standout. The movie just wasn't that good. John Walker, sort of like, the fake Captain America. He's super insecure. He's trying to do the right thing, but it just feels like he can't. Ghost, she was kind of, hopping around. I didn't really care about her that much. And even from there, you've got like Bucky and Taskmaster, who's also in Black Widow. Bucky, of course, is still like this broken character, but he's like the seasoned vet of this group. And let me just put it to you this way. This movie was able to connect all these characters through their traumatic backgrounds and pull them together into a family that we know as the Thunderbolts. I was amazed at how well their chemistry meshed together, and this is the reality. And this is why I'm so excited for the future too. This film, it just feels like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not in space, there's not aliens. Well, I guess you could say maybe Sentry or whatever you want to say, but you actually learn to care about these characters. Now, looking at the future of the MCU, and I don't want to just jump ahead to the future, right? I am genuinely invested in this team and these characters. I care about them. I understand where they're coming from. Someone like Ghost, honestly, I didn't really care about too much in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I just rewatched it the other day, and I'm like, yeah, she's a fine character. She is so much better in this movie, and she's a bit underutilized, I'd say. Maybe that's a bit of a negative. A lot of other people, though, they just stand out so much because they're just so bold, but she's great in this. John Walker, for me personally, is the standard of this movie. Like, yes, Yelena is great. Red Guardian is just funny, but also there's emotional points where he honestly, he feels bad for what he's done to Yelena, and he's trying to help her because he is her father, at least her father figure, technically, whatever you want to say. But John Walker, I feel like he's just such a tragic character in the sense that, yes, he's kind of a dick, I guess you could say, but he's kind of a likable one. It's just like Tony Stark in the sense that, okay, at the end of the day, he's probably going to do the right thing, especially as this movie progresses, and all these characters are sort of struggling with similar things. From there, what else do I even talk about? I feel like the color grading of this movie, it's very gray throughout, and that's something that I know that people have complained about the MCU for years at this point, but this is clearly so intentional, and it fits the story very well. From there, the villain and, all the things that are going on with DeFontaine, I just love the idea of someone pulling the strings and what's going on with our villain that we've seen in the trailer. I don't really want to get into too many details because it's just best to go in as blind as possible, but we sort of crescendo into this third act that is so different from anything that we've ever done in the MCU. And I loved it, and I could see why some people wouldn't, but it feels so deeply personal, and it's such an important message that I feel like everyone can relate to, even me, just about, dealing with the hard times in your life, man, and how the people that are around you are very important, and how, you're not alone. You're not alone at the end of the day, and I feel like this movie had something to say about that. From there, I've got to say, the action is awesome. There's some points where I don't want to say like we drag, but there's just some talking. There's not too much action going on. When the action comes out, it really hits. The hand-to-hand combat stuff's cool. The camera work, it's honestly pretty unique, especially because we're talking about an MCU movie where sometimes things can feel formulaic. The visual effects, I honestly think they're really good. I know that sometimes, visual effects is kind of something that can also dog on Marvel for. I don't want to spend too much time on it because, again, it's more of like a gray movie, but I thought everything looked really great. But I just feel like this movie has some sauce to it. It's just a good film. It's a really good movie that utilizes a theme, a clear central narrative that's trying to portray to the audience, and it ties into the plot. It's not just people saying, hey, if you're depressed, you should get help. No, it's showing you but not telling you directly to your face. I loved this movie. I really did. And listen, getting into the future of the MCU, I have to talk about it, okay? Marvel has been on just a losing streak for so long at this point. And listen, every step forward they take, it's like 2 or 3 steps back. I understand that some of you like Spider-Man No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine. I did too. I was so excited for these movies. The problem is, cameos can only do so much when you don't have a good story. In Spider-Man No Way Home, okay? Curing the villains doesn't make sense whether you like it or not. You can explain it to me for 4 hours. It's just a poorly written film. And I enjoy the movie. I enjoy it. But it's not a very good story. Deadpool and Wolverine. All the cameos, super fun. It's funny, there's action, there's blood, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, there's cameos, it's going crazy, right? But the story isn't really that good when you think about it for more than 10 seconds. And I guess you could say, it's not really what you're going there for, whatever. I look at Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a phenomenal MCU movie. Let me just get that out of the way. That's like top 5, top 6, top 7 for me. But it still feels a bit distant from the central narrative that we're trying to build from. Not that it really needed to, because it's just closing off the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, but that was a good film that was released post Endgame that was more standalone as well. But the Thunderbolts is a good MCU movie on its own, and it also has a central narrative that is pushing forward this overall story of the MCU. It's clear where we're going with Avengers Doomsday now, especially because the post-credit scene at the end, honestly, is just awesome. It was so cool. The way this movie ends, too, I would not want you to get it spoiled. It's so cool. I loved it. I was getting a real kick out of it. And again, this movie's good not because of cameos or gimmicks or quips, because this movie can be funny, but it's not like we're just quipping every 2 seconds like, oh, he's right behind me, isn't he? No, it's a genuinely just funny film because there's little things that are set up, and also you got a character like Alexi in there who's just kind of always funny, but it's not like in a quippy way where at unnecessary times there's just little jokes going on. When this movie wants to get serious, it gets very serious. It gets very dark. And that's what I liked about it. It just feels like it's a film that takes itself kind of seriously. It kind of, puts on its big boy pants and says, hey, we're actually going to make a good film here with a good story. At the end of the day, I come to the MCU for good storytelling. I know that some people come for the action. Some people come for, maybe the funny characters that they like. I love the characters, but the reason I love the characters is because they're involved in good stories. And when the MCU is able to tell a great story like this, and I know I'm saying story 100 times, take a shot for every time I do, I fall in love with it again. I just feel like this is my personal ideal MCU movie. Is it perfect? No. And I'm going to give my rating here in a second, but I still feel like from a structural standpoint, it's my ideal MCU film. I fell in love with the characters, their chemistry was on point. The narrative was super interesting. It wasn't formulaic, it really goes for something. Like I said, with the mental health angle, if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not like your typical, again, people punching each other type of movie. It gets deep. And also, it sets up the future of the MCU. And I don't want to be the guy who's like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I can't just appreciate the present and what we have right now. But it got me excited for it. And I feel like, honestly, I don't want to jump to conclusions here. I feel like, honestly, we're really in for an interesting trilogy coming up. And I know there's also Secret Wars, but we don't even know what's going on with that yet. But in the next year, exactly a year, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Doomsday, I feel like this is going to be a real big hit. I'm going to be honest, especially, again, there's some teases at the end. I don't want to say anything, but the post-credit scene and stuff, things are looking hot right now. I'm really excited. And it's funny because I really did not like Captain America Brave New World. I thought it was really bad, but it just feels like day and night. I don't know what happens here. I'm pretty sure the Disney CEOs, the previous CEO, Bob Chapek, he was handling Brave New World, but then Bob Iger, I'm pretty sure, the Disney CEO, was handling Thunderbolts and on, I'm pretty sure. So it's almost like we're entering a new creative era from a craftsmanship standpoint. And I'm very excited to see where this stuff goes. I'm just over the roof. I really am. It's just a good movie without any gimmicks. You care about the characters. You feel emotions. I'm going to end up giving Thunderbolts, with a little asterisk, I guess you could say, a 4.5 out of 5. I genuinely loved this film. Are there negatives to it? Yeah. I'd say yeah. I'd say maybe sometimes it just drags a little bit. I don't think it's like a perfect film overall. I don't think it's like the most mind-blowing comic book film I've ever seen, but I just think it's just a great time at the movies. And it can get deep, though. I'm not going to act like this is the happiest movie in the world, but it's just so great. It just feels so great. And I literally have not been this happy with the MCU since Shang-Chi in August or September 2021, because that was a movie that did the same thing with creating a good character, telling a good story, making you feel emotions without the cameos, the gimmicks, this, that, yada, yada, yada. It's written well, and I really, really am just over the moon excited to see where the future of the MCU goes. We are so back. I know it sounds so corny, and can I just be excited for a minute here? Can I please, for the love of God, just be excited about the MCU for 5 minutes? I am super hyped for Fantastic Four now. My hype level is 10 out of 10. You could call me unfair for saying that. You could say that's unfair, I guess you could say. I don't care. My hype is 10 out of 10. I've loved the trailers, but now after seeing this, Marvel, can we get on a hot streak here? Can we get on a roll? I believe they can. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys saw the Thunderbolts, let me know what you thought. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.